Hello everyone, welcome to Sameeksha Academy. Let's read today's newspaper. So today we have a lot of stuff to read. There is some good information today. See here, first see the headline. This is with respect to Bangladesh. Rule of law in hiding Bangla Awami top brass connect with Hasina, wait for rule of law to return. Right? So as Bangladesh government is planning for extradition of Sheikh Hasina, so this is something is happening there. We will be just observing the issue. So this, as you all know, yesterday we celebrated 128th birth anniversary of Subhash Chandra Bose. So we also named that day as Parakram Divas, right? So in that event, you can see Modi interacting with the students. Next, you can also, I also highlighted this particular headline. So this is with respect to minorities targeted, bid to rewrite history, take revenge of 1971 events. So this is ongoing thing within Bangladesh, but this is important for us. This is with respect to after NSC, a foreign secretary to visit China on January 26-27. So this is especially, as you all know, in the recent past, we once again resumed talks between India and China, especially after cutting off our to some extent political ties with China after the 2020 standoff, right? So in the recent past, we once again came to some kind of agreement, so that you can see here after what you call this as border patrolling agreement that I highlighted here. Meanwhile, you can also see initially we have seen our external affairs minister, right, met his counterpart, then later in the Kagan, right, the recent BRICS summit that happened, there Indian Prime Minister met Xi Jinping. So after that we have this NAC level talks. Now our foreign secretary will be meeting the Chinese counterpart. So that means now once again we are trying to revive back the relationship with China. So this is very much important, especially in the context of recent Quad ministers meet. So this is what you have to understand here. See here, good news for us. Trump backs H1B visa, wants very competent people at all levels. So the day one hype of anti-immigrant policy, slowly it is coming to normalcy. So that way, that as expected, but it created some hype initially, but now they are also there, because at the end of the day, they all know without the competent people, it's very difficult for US. So that's why he's saying, I'm not just talking about engineers, I'm talking about people at all levels. So that is about this. Again, this is important with respect to ISRO's new chief Narayanan, right? So and what are the tasks in front of him? First one is 100th launch of these satellites, right? Next, PSLV built by private sector. As you all know, in the recent past, we are heavily encouraging private sector to come and participate in space related tasks, right? We have this in space for that. Okay, so in this context, we have to understand about recent initiatives with respect to ISRO. We already discussed about SpaceX, right? Space docking exercise. Yeah, I think you should also know about this Navik, our Indian regional navigation satellite system. It is on par with GPS and GLONASS. GLONASS is of Russia, GPS is of US, right? Beidou is of China. Okay, Galileo is of European Space Agency. In a similar fashion, Navik is ours, right? It's a kind of navigation system, our regional navigation system covering Indian region and its immediate neighborhood. Okay, so this upgradation started, especially we remember this keyword rubidium clocks. So these are the atomic clocks with utmost accuracy that we will be using in our satellites to measure the right micro level details with respect to time, because there we need utmost accuracy to calculate. So that is one important aspect. One more I highlighted here is like, say, another important thing. Now in front, the task in front of him, another one is the next generation launch vehicle. We are planning for a very big launch vehicle, because India is planning for Chandrayaan 4 and another one, what is that, Bharat Antariksh Station. So for that we need big size rockets. Now India is planning for this 30,000 kg, that means 30-ton size rockets. It will be the size of a 30-story building. Like a 30-floor building, how much the size, how much the height would be, that much height the rocket would be in this next generation launch vehicle. The current capacity is only 8,500 kgs. That means 8.5 tons. Now we are planning for 30 tons rocket. The current highest one is Bahubali Mark 3. Earlier we used to call GSLV Mark 3. Okay. So this is also important. So these all are events that we need to tap, because every day if you tap it so that you can remember. Next one, as I already said, foreign secretary level talks. So what are the things they will be discussing? They will be not only discussing political aspect, they will also discussing the economic aspect and people to people relations. So this is happening, as we already see in this after this quad foreign ministers meet, because in the quad foreign ministers meet, all of them they directly cornered China, right? Their main agenda that time was that targeting the Indo-Pacific region, especially to control the aggressive posture of China. So in this context, because for India, China is also equally important, because at the end of that it is our neighbor. We can change our friends, but we cannot change our neighbors. So this current meeting, we can understand it's a kind of balancing act. On one side we need Quad, on the other side we should also balance our relationship with China. So in this context we have to see in what way we are trying to build up. See here, we like this Manasarovar. So Manasarovar is located in Tibet, right? So now we once again plan to resume our pilgrimage there, along with that this trans-border river cooperation, right? Border this trade along Nathula Pass. So there are some things that that will be discussed between the foreign secretaries of both the countries, right? So recently you have seen this disengagement happened along this Depsang and Demchok plains of Ladakh, right? So what we call that as the Aksai Chin region. So now the disengagement started. Now we are planning for this de-escalation, right? Gradually reducing the use of military forces there. That's what we are planning for. Let's hope for the best. So that is about this particular issue. And next, so here just a continuation. Here not much. Again, see this one. Yesterday we already discussed about the split verdict. So in the split verdict, what is the point they mentioned here? It will open the Pandora box. And again, the core point they mentioned here is that yesterday we already discussed. On one side, we must be, the court's argument here is we must be careful while granting bails. If every under trial, right, wants to contest elections in the name of that, they may misuse it. Under trial should be given interim bail only in the case of emergencies. Suppose, for example, if there is any health emergency in the family, or if there are any functions that need to be attended, in that case, bails has to be granted. But in circumstances, right, if the cases are, if the allegations are really serious, then interim bail must not be given. That is one judge's point of view. Another judge's argument is that it is just an allegation. So how much ever serious that might be, but still it is an allegation, because the case is not yet proved. So in that case, denying bail should not be an option. So that's why it's a split verdict. Then we have to the case now it got transferred to a 3-judge bench. Now we have to wait and see. So that is about that. See again this one here, Ashoka University in Haryana. So baggage scans, metal detectors compulsory, students are protesting. Understood that. So students are thinking it like it is a kind of the day-to-day monitoring of their activities, right? But the government point is, so here some of the students, like if you come up with this kind of scanners and all, it's a kind of regulating some of the, what you call, we can't say it's a kind of illegal activity, but those kind of activities, right? That some of some students might be consuming those kind of things that they shouldn't consume, but the students are feeling it like it's a kind of suffocation. So that's the reason. So that's happening in this Ashoka University in Haryana, right? So next one here is okay, here not much. See here. See this one, why I highlighted this, keen on finding solution to High Court judges pension. As you all know, with respect to pension, I think you know this difference here. When it comes to High Court judges, when they like during their tenure as a judge for high court judges, the salary will be coming from the state governments, but when they retired, that time the salary will be coming from what you call directly from the central government. Okay, so this is what you have to say in simple terms. We use in the context of polity, we say state consolidated fund and central consolidated fund, right? But now the issue here is some of the high court judges, those who are getting elevated from district courts, they will be coming under this NPS scheme, new pension scheme. So now this is having some kind of concern for some judges. See, when they are getting retired, some judges are getting a kind of different variability in pay. Some are getting higher pay, some are getting lesser pay. So for this, arguments took place. Now Supreme Court is saying that we are aware of this particular issue, then we will be finding a keen solution for that. So that's the reason I highlighted here. But what we must understand is that the technical aspect. That means when during the salaries comes from where and pensions comes from where for high court judges. That is the key point. See this one here, Engineer Rashid and Amritpal Singh. Both got arrested in two different cases. Engineer Rashid got arrested because under this NIA case, under this UPA case, Unlawful Activities Prevention Act, right? So especially with respect to terror funding. And Amritpal Singh because he openly supported the separatist activities. So he got arrested by NIA. But the thing here is both got recently elected to the 2024 Lok Sabha elections. One got elected from this Baramulla, another one from Punjab, right? So now they both are arguing for, they both got jail, but now they both want to attend the budget sessions. Understood that? See here, so this is what, so this is the beauty of democracy. Understood? Sometimes there will be cases against you, but still you got elected. If you take the case of this Amritpal Singh, from his constituency, this time when he got elected, he got the highest number of votes, but still he got jail. Understood? So this debate we have to understand. See this one, this is with respect to higher education. The Times higher education ranking, if you say, only IISc Bangalore, Indian Institute of Science Bangalore only reached the top spot, the top 100 spot, especially the 99th spot, right? So hardly any other institution from the Indian side reached the top spot, but some other some universities that are in the at least top 300-500 list, you can see here. In the case of engineering category, we have this Anna University, IIT Guwahati, right? In the case of arts, we have this Jawaharlal Nehru University, JNU at Delhi University, right? And when it comes to medical, see here, that's what I would like to highlight here. When it comes to medical, only one particular medical one, that is Savita Institute of Medical and Technical Sciences. This is only secured the in between 251 to 300 between rank. So that means with respect to medical education, still we are quite lagging at the global level that I am trying to explain here. Understood that? So that is about this particular issue. Next, see this one, Kamakya Temple Board, right? ED conducts raids. So this is especially with respect in the temple boards, how the funds are being misused. You know what exactly happened here? So the temple board officials, so they started giving contracts to their relatives, their known people. Through them, these people only used to siphon the funds. So it is a pure case of misuse of government office. So that's the reason ED has to conduct raids on some of the officials who misused Kamakya Temple Board funds. So that's about this particular issue. Next, see this one. This is with respect to India and Bangladesh. Border security force and border guards Bangladesh. Right? So these two, recently you might had about some kind of irk in the relationship, right? Or some kind of differences. So, and that too, this border, we have a lot of illegal activities, especially activities related to smuggling, right? Smuggling of cows, human trafficking, drugs, right? Sometimes illegal arms smuggling. So that is actually happening in the along the Bangladesh border. So in this context, you have to say this. Next, yeah, this is very important. See this one, very much important in the context of prelims. Moscow ThyssenKrupp likely to land 70 crore submarine deal. What is important here is, first see some key points here. This ThyssenKrupp, it's a German company. We have two other companies. One is this Spanish firm called as Navantia, and we have Indian one, that is L&T. So ThyssenKrupp, Navantia, L&T, these three applied for, right? So this particular project called as a submarine deal. What is the submarine deal? It is, right, it comes under this new technology called as air independent propulsion system, right? So we have two types of submarines. One is nuclear, second one is diesel operated, right? Right now there are two types of submarines. One is nuclear, second one is diesel operated. Nuclear one, right, highly efficient, right, longer endurance. What is endurance means here? If this is the sea, you can be at the you can be at the deeper pockets of the sea for a longer period. So this is what we call as endurance, right? So if you take the case of nuclear powered submarines, they have a long endurance. They have long endurance, that is good for that. But the problem with nuclear powered submarines is they will make high noise, right? Highly costly. The cost is also quite high for nuclear submarines, right? They will make some noise, so chances for detection. And the third one is we cannot operate in the littoral areas. That means in the mid range of waters we cannot use it's very difficult to use nuclear powered submarines. Mostly at the deep sea level we can use them. But whereas in the case of diesel powered submarines, we can use them even in the littoral waters, right? Less cost comparing with nuclear powered submarines, right? They will make less noise. Understood that? So that's the advantage. But the problem with diesel submarines right now is that right now these diesel powered submarines, right, they don't have this long endurance because they have to charge their batteries. Further, they need oxygen. So that's why what mostly these diesel powered submarines used to do. So after few weeks, right, after a week or two, they have to come to close to the surface. That's what we call that they will snorkel. So then the diesel engine, the diesel combustion will start and it will charge the batteries, and again they will go back. They will go back to the sea, deep mid sea. But because of this, sometimes there are chances for detection. But what this air independent propulsion will do, because of this, now they no need to come towards the surface, right, to charge their batteries. They can stay in mid waters for long. So that is what is called as this air independent propulsion. Further, they will be using the best technology. What is best? Bioethanol stealth technology. So this technology Indian Navy wants. So these three competed, right? ThyssenKrupp, Navantia and L&T. They have three competed further. Finally, we have chosen the ThyssenKrupp, right? So this is about this. This we actually did under the Project 75. This Project 75 is an initiative under which we want to have, like, we want to go for indigenous technologies. We want to develop indigenous make in India products. So under which initially there will be only 45% of indigenization. Eventually we will be going for the 60% of indigenization when we are going for the step by step process. So that is about this particular one. Very much important in the context of prelims, and especially with respect to this defense, strengthening the defense equipment of the country. See this one. So this is with respect to this NDTV case, as you all know, right? Like couple of months back, we have seen this, the promoters of NDTV, Pranay Roy and Radhika Roy, right? Cases got filed against him because when they took loan from this ICICI under this RRPR Holdings Limited, they did some manipulation. So because of that, case is filed against them, but eventually they sold off their company also, as you all know, right? Right now they are not the owners of this particular company. Eventually CBI has to file a closure report. Initially when CBI challenged, it alleged that this particular RRPR Holding Limited entered into a criminal conspiracy with unknown officials of ICICI Bank and violated section 19(2) of Banking Regulation Act. But while filing the closure report, they mentioned that The reduction of interest rate was not an isolated incident, and the bank reduced interest rates in 83 loans from 2007 to 2010, but even for others also. So you can understand. So initially, when they initiated the proceeding, they said it's a criminal conspiracy, but they couldn't find anything. So who will be at the wrong? See this one. Notices to Ola, Uber, Apple or software prices compared. In the recent past in social media also we have seen, if you try to book a Rapido, if you try to book under Android platform, how much it is showing. If you book under Apple platform, how much it is showing. Most of the users are saying that Apple platform is charging more, right? Even for other things also. So there are complaints. Now the complaints went to whom? Went to Central Consumer Protection Authority, right? So this authority now can take action if you file a complaint. Understood that? That's what this did. Now this, with respect to Apple, it mentioned that it will be releasing a software update, because in the recent past for the Apple devices, it is some of the devices are facing this camera freezing. And with this overall, it gave an explanation that we don't set the prices based on Riot's phone manufacturer, says Uber, but they have yet to give a proper official explanation for that. We have to wait and see. And the most important thing here is, see this, loudspeakers not essential part of religion. Bombay High Court, very important. So what is the court's argument here? The plea alleged that failure of police to take action against use of loudspeakers amplifiers by religious places, right, beyond the prohibited hours. So further, the court claimed no one can claim that his rights are affected in any manner if he is denied permission using the loudspeakers. So using loudspeakers is not essential part of the religion. It is disturbing the ecosystem of the region, right? So that's why the state must come with a fix to regulate this automatic regulation of the sounds in the loudspeakers. That's what the Bombay High Court has to say. Very much important in the context of what you call right to life, right? So that is about this. Next, see this one. So just this is with respect to movie. Anuja, a short film set in India, secures Oscar nomination. So just have a look at it. Next, see this, very important. Begging, ban in indoor, right? So indoor ban this begging, and again further they mention that the policy to ban both giving and receiving alms is part of an initiative to rehabilitate the beggars, to rehabilitate them. So if you have to rehabilitate, if they continue go for the begging, right? So it's not a good thing. So that's what they did. So it's not just only alms taker, ALMs, not only alms taker, but also alms giver must be arrested. So there will be a fine and arrest, both, if anyone gives alms to beggars. So that's what the district collector has to say. Not to become partners in sin by giving alms to people. So don't give unnecessarily alms to people, right? So that is with respect to this particular thing. So I found it little interesting. So just that's why I highlighted that. See this one. This is with respect to India must be ready to seize opportunities thrown up by rapidly changing global environment. So here what we try to understand, because in the recent past, if you see, USA is the largest trade partner of India, right? Most of the India's exports are going to US and Europe. But now these countries are trying to put restrictions in terms of increasing tariffs. If that is the case, what we need to do, we need to diversify our exports. That is what we can understand from this particular editorial. So this particular editorial is saying that there are a lot many things that we tried. In the recent past, we signed what you call that as trade agreements with UAE and Australia. Okay. So with respect to EU, European Union, talks are going on with respect to this FTA, free trade agreement. That means we will be signing a deal with them. In simple terms, we will be setting a deal. So this many exports will be coming from our side, right? This much amount will be importing from your side. If you set this deal, in the coming future, if you face some issues, suppose for example now US is saying that now we will be changing the tariffs, but India is the largest trading partner of US here. So don't you think we will be affected? Yes, we will be affected. So we need to diversify our products. We should reach West Asia, we should reach Southeast Asia. See, with respect to Southeast Asia, we tried, but we didn't sign this RECP, RCEP, Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership. So if you could have signed this Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership along with 10 ASEAN countries, right, we could have better traded. But the problem here is why we worried, because in this RCEP agreement, China is there. If we sign this deal, we can get more imports from China. And another major concern that time we expressed, especially with respect to our agricultural sector, especially our dairy sector, we may get lot many cheap imports from like the China, Australia, New Zealand, these countries also part of it. So that's the reason we did not sign. But how long we have this fear? That's what some scholars used to say. We must sign these agreements, because when we sign these agreements, when we have this, if we face any challenge from one side, right, we can be protected from the other agreements. So that's how we need to intensify in terms of signing of the trade agreements, thereby seize the opportunity. That's what this particular editorial says. Next, see this one. Yesterday, Soumya Swaminathan, right, WHO scientist, she also argued that you cannot, it's not good to withdraw from WHO. Why? Because you are not only losing access to the data, but there is no alternative to WHO with respect to dealing with global pandemics, right? So that's what we can understand from this. So that's what here also says. There is no health agency with WHO's reach and legitimacy. Understood? So that's why withdrawing from WHO by US is not a good option. That's what most of the people are suggesting. That's what this editorial is also saying here. Next, okay, I couldn't find much. See this one. Indian refiners seek more West Asian oil amid US sanctions on Russian oil trade. As you all know, in the recent past, USA further intensified its sanctions on Russia. USA is sanctioning Russia. What it means? It also wants its allies and supporters to put sanctions, or else it will put sanctions even on them under this CAATSA. So there is an act called as CAATSA Act. Okay. So in this way, now because of these sanctions on Russia, now we have to put, we have to seek more more oil from the West Asian countries. That's what we can understand from this. So this is with respect to budget. Boost household income, simplify indirect taxes, put conditions on capital expenditure to states, support MSMEs. So the core point here is MSMEs need to be supported. Household income, if you boost household income, you can increase the consumption. Simplify indirect taxes. So don't have, instead the very purpose for which we came up with GST. Why? To simplify the tax. But again, if you tax on for the same popcorn, if you tax multiple things, right? So for sweet, if you add caramel, one type of tax will be there. Plain popcorn, one type of tax will be there. If things are like this, it's not good. So simplify the indirect tax. Put conditions on capex loans to states. Capex loans mean capital expenditure loans. If you are giving loans to states, put some conditions so that they will not misuse them. So valid points. See this one again. India poised to lead in artificial intelligence, right? Sustain 6 to 8% of growth. You can use this as some kind of introduction. Just headline is important. Again, see here, Samsung enters India's small cities for smartphone growth. So the company currently has 400 exclusive stores, which it plans to double by end of 2025. So that means how the smartphone sellers are planning for, like where they are seeing the growth. They are seeing the growth in tier 2 and tier 3 cities. This is what we have to understand. Next, after that, see this one. This is with respect to ad hoc judges. Why it is important, especially in the context of prelims, these kind of things are important. So how an ad hoc judge will be appointed? First and foremost, why they will be appointed? Because right now, just few days back, we discussed, we just read in the news that former Chief Justice of India, that A.K. Ganguly, Ranjan Gogoi. What Ranjan Gogoi said? When I used to be Chief Justice, that time 3 crore cases used to be there. But right now there are 5 crore cases. So pendency of cases are getting increased, but in the commensurate manner, we don't have the judges increased. right? Hardly we have 25,000 plus judges in the country. We need more than lakh plus judges. So if there are if the judge to population ratio is less, right, and cases are pending, and whatever vacancies that need to be filled that we haven't filled, if these are the situations, sometimes we need some kind of ad hoc mechanism, in simple terms temporary mechanism. For that, even in constitution under article 224A, constitution allows chief justice of a high court request retired judges to perform duties of a judge again, mostly for the 2 to 3 years. Understood that. Further, there is a detailed procedure. The high court judge, first it will be that recommendations will what after taking consent of the judge, retired judge, right? The file will be transferred to chief minister. Chief minister in turn transferred to the law minister. Law minister, after taking concurrence of chief justice of India, will transfer the file to prime minister. Prime minister eventually will recommend to president. President will appoint. So finally, who appoints ad hoc judges? President will appoint. However, this is the process. Why do we need that? Why do we need that? Because it's a temporary mechanism. Usually, when the vacancies are more than 20%, right? If more than 10% backlog cases are pending, in that case, we will be following this particular system. As simple as that. See this one, I will be doing a video on this, with these meme coins. This is especially with respect to this bitcoins, right? But the ultimate point here, what we must try to understand is the blockchain technology. I will be doing a detailed video. So here I won't be taking much of your time, but I will do a video because it is very much important. Earlier also when Trump came, that time there was a surge of cryptocurrencies, but suddenly after that we have seen a sudden fall of these cryptocurrencies. Because of the sudden rise and fall of these currencies, how it may impact individuals and institutions and eventually the economy of the country, right? In simple terms, this meme coins means anyone can launch their own coin under the Bitcoin, under these crypto coins. I think you know about all these crypto coins. They all will be using this blockchain technology, right? So I will do a detailed video. Fine. So that is about this. Next, so again, so this is with respect to US. So again, see here, new wildfire near LA, it explodes once again. Once again, this surge of this wildfires in Los Angeles. See this one, this is important. Thailand holds first same-sex weddings. Thailand on Thursday became the first country in Southeast Asia. First country in Southeast Asia to go for this same-sex marriages. So that is one thing, and I feel rest all sports news. Yeah, that's it. I feel that's it for the day. All right. Thank you.